What's up, guys? I'm going to try and keep this one short so I can keep your all short attention spans focused on me for a minute. Yes, I see I have a goddamn red thing. It's ingrown hair. Can't help it, man. Now that we've got this out of the way, carry on with the conversation. So, anyway, I launched Patreon the other day. Patreon is now live, and there are 4 tiers. And I feel one of the tiers needs to be explained. And this is something I've wanted to talk about over the past month or so. I wanted to mention it to you guys. And I think I have talked about it a little bit before. Now we're going to talk about it again. So, let's see. Tier 1, is $1, $5 for the second tier, $20 for the third, and $100 for the fourth. Now, I wanted to talk about the last two, obviously, because the first 2 tiers are giveaway. You don't get nothing out of it. Let's talk about the last 2, what you can get out of it. All right, so $20, right? $20 gives you a phone call to me once a week on my time off to talk to me about whatever you want to talk about. Now, generally speaking, I talk to everybody who messages me for the most part, at least a little bit. But a lot of times, too, it gets to the point where I'll stop talking to you. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Go do whatever by yourself now. I've given you as much as I'm going to give you. It's kind of like a fucking lap dance. Yeah, you get a time to talk to me, but you don't get as much time as you generally want. Now, if you're okay with that, okay. But there are a lot of people, believe it or not, who are not okay with that. Because there are some people who hit me up again and again and again. And it gets like, I'll see the ding, the notification. I won't even check it for 24 hours. And I'll open it. And I'll just see periods of times where the guys talk to me at different points in time. And I've just never answered because the questions are just, they're on the channel. They're really basic. I don't feel like fucking taking the time. And the guy is just one of those people who loves to talk. And I like talking too, but I like talking to people who bring me new shit. I had a conversation with a guy who's been a long time subscriber of mine. He used to go by Trick Daisy. Now he calls himself Punisher Civic. But his name is Eric, and the guy's been around for a long time. I recognize the name. This is a guy who regularly comments. Guys, this is kind of, it maybe sound a little fucked up, but this is the case. If you're one of these people who watch this for a long time, because a lot of people, what they do is this, bro, I've watched your channel for a year, I've watched for a long time, and I just, I've never commented, so now I want to say something. But then they'll say that, and they'll say they've been subscribed to my channel for a long time and watched for a long time, but then when they ask me stuff, they'll say shit that I've already talked about a bunch of times on the channel in that period that they said they've been in. So it seems like some people will say that because they've been around for a long time, they think that I should, talk to them for a long time or whatnot, just to kind of like repay their views or whatnot. But how can I know if you're around if you don't speak? Because I tend to recognize the motherfuckers who like and comment regularly, like on like Instagram and Facebook. I see people, there's a good amount of people that I see liking and commenting that, I recognize you. I recognize you from seeing the name popped up over and over and over again. It's like learning a song, learning the lyrics. You see the words over and over again, eventually you're going to memorize them. So, as a way to, I guess I would imagine that Patreon is one of those things where you can donate one time and then back out and never do it again, right? So I would guess that's the case. If you want to talk to me once and you want to, like there's been other people I've mentioned before who like to do, hey bro, what can I do to shoot you some money to, pay you for some time? And I always say no, because even if I wanted to, that'd be messy, or generally speaking, it's the wrong time. But at least if you do it on Patreon and do it like this, you're in there. At least you're covered for a month. So if you only want to do it one time and bounce, you got 4 weeks of conversation time with me that I won't cut you off, that I'll entertain you, and that I'll be on the phone with you. So it'll be faster, quicker, easier. You don't have to spend time typing on your phone or typing on the computer. Just talk direct. It's easier. A lot of things, less likely to have things lost in translation, right? So that's the idea. Now, if some crazy shit happens in the future where my channel explodes and I get a lot of fucking subscribers, I guess, and then the Patreon explodes, and then I would imagine that I would eventually have to change to a business fucking phone. So that way people don't have my personal number. Because the guys I'm talking about giving you my personal phone number, like the phone number I'm going to give you to call me is going to be my number. So that could potentially be fucked up, for people who want to troll or whatnot. But I don't think that I'm famous enough right now to where I need to worry about my phone number being floating around out there. I'm not like scared to throw my shit on silent. It's not a big deal. And just ignore the call, which is what I tend to do for people who are calling me that I don't know recognize the number. But anyway, something I'm willing to try out. I still, like I said, I still talk to people. I'm not telling you I'm not gonna talk to you no more unless you pay me. I'll still talk to people. I still enjoy talking to some people, and but this is just a way to have a guaranteed conversation for a good amount of time to talk about no matter how basic this shit is. Because if you come at me with basic shit in my DMs, 9 out of 10 times I won't even give you a straight up answer. I'm just going to give you a link to the channel. So that's what this is for. Now the fourth one, the $100 one, is Parts Hunter. Right? So read the description here. If I don't have a part on hand, there's a good chance I can find it for you locally at a good price. Usually, when I pick up items for people, I add a decent fee to that to cover the time spent on pickup and then to ship the item DM for more specific details, right? So, here's the thing, right? You guys saw that Civic head or the single cam head I posted the other day, right? That's that situation, kinda. So, every time you see me post a list of parts or whatnot, I'm like, $250 for a bare block. And if you're thinking, fuck, that's a lot of money. Well, think about it like this. I have to go on Facebook, find a fucking seller, negotiate with the seller, go to the seller, pick up the part, bring it back home. A lot of times it's a blown engine. Strip it down, clean it, hone it, paint it, take it to FedEx, ship it. Right? So that's a lot of work involved. So that's why I tax on my blocks. That's why I tax on parts, because it's time spent. Now, if you want to understand or have an idea of, of my range of going out to get parts, it's like this, right? This Y8 head. When the guy talked to me, I was on the way home from seeing the Del Sol. He hit me. So I called him. We talked. So he ran down his idea. I'm like, well, I can't do an engine for you I can't do a complete long block for you unless you want a freight. Freight could potentially cost you $400 because I would have to find a way to box or something that I can put it in to contain this shit, and it's going to be a lot of money, right? So I could send you a built block and a built head, and then you have it assembled wherever or by whoever. That's on you. So he's like, well, should I send you parts? I'm like, well, if you send me something, I generally spend between 140 to 180 for a short block. Now it's B series and K series. It's been a while since I've done a single cam, so I don't remember how much it costs. But at least you're going to spend at least $100. So imagine if you got to take your engine out, split it into a block and a half. So you got to take your engine out of the car, split it in half, drain it of all the fluids, and then wrap it up, box it up, send it to me. So you got to spend the money to send it to me, and then you got to spend the money to get it back, because I'm not paying for your shipping, right? Your labor prices are cheap because I don't include the price of parts and shipping, which is why it's called labor price, right? The labor. So he's like, all right, fine. How much do you think it would be to get a head down here? I was like, well, generally speaking, I find a head for $100 for a single cam VTEC. That's what I would expect to spend down here. Maybe less sometimes, but that's a general going price. So quoted for the labor. I need the money for the head first, and then I'll go get the part. So he sends me the money on PayPal. Later on that same night, I had found two people that had the head, and one of them was really close to me, but his time frame for us to meet up wasn't right, so I couldn't do it. If I would have met with him today, there's just no way I would have got what I needed to get done today, which still took me all my daylight hours to finish, right? So I ran down to get the head from the dude, and it was a 53-mile drive to Homestead, which is southernmost Miami, right? So 53 miles one way. We're talking about 106 miles to go pick up this part. So yes, I need to charge for gas for pickup, right? So so here's the thing, right? So if I find a part for $100, like say situation with his head, and my normal price would be to charge you. Okay, so for example, short block, the bare short block, I sell the short block for $250. Now, if you happen to be one of these guys that subscribes to Patreon, like again, this can be a one-time thing for a whole month that lasts. So it doesn't have to be where you gotta constantly say subscribe, right? This could be a one-time thing. This doesn't even have, you don't even have to do this through Patreon. I just like it to be that way. It's easier. I guess it would be easier instead of you just sending me PayPal money or whatever. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't work out. It still can be this. Like I said, I was talking about this before Patreon. So it doesn't have to be through Patreon. This is just a general offer, right? Just so you understand what that tier is for. So let's say I find a block at $50, and instead of charging you $250, I would charge you what I paid for it. Now, if I'm cleaning it and honing it and painting it, there will be a labor fee for that, because that is a separate labor. But if it's just to find the fucking block and resell it, you know, instead of $250, maybe I would charge you $100 for a short block that's bare that I haven't touched anything on. Just, you want a bare short block for me, I gotta, you know, I'm gonna charge you $100 because, you know, there's the shipping to think about, to consider, and all that shit too. And like I said, driving and pick it up and whatnot. But let's say you give me the $100 for parts hunting for you, instead of charging you any tax, I just, whatever the going price for is locally, that's the price you're gonna get it for. So yes, you're still gonna have to pay the money for the part itself, but you're gonna get it at so you won't get it at an inflated tax rate that I put on it. I won't tax it for you. So, and the way you look at it is like this: if the block costs $50 and you give me $100 to parts hunt for you, then you get it for $150 instead of $250, right? Now here's another thing, another case scenario, right? Too, outside of the parts hunting, right? Say you don't want to do the Patreon thing, you don't want to do the $100 for the cover you for the whole month, because like I said, if you do it through Patreon, then that $100 for me parts hunting for you covers the whole month. So if you want me to go pick up a head here one day, pick up a block there, pick up some pistons, rods there, then I can do that. It'll be unlimited pickup. You just have to pay for the whatever the price is for me to get it and ship it out. So what you could do too is if you don't want to pay $100, then like you could hey, find me, like you're like, hey Chris, I need a starter. How much can you give me the starter for? And then I'll tell you, like, I can find one at this price, and then I'll add a fee to it for gas and, you know, and getting ready to ship. So let's say I find a starter for you, hypothetically, for like $30. Like, hey Chris, go give me the starter for $30. So I'll charge you, let's see, $70. And I know a starter, it sounds expensive for a used starter, but just an example. Like, I find something for you and I add the fee to it that'll cover me going and picking it up and sending it out to you. So it's kind of like a labor fee type deal. And so it'll be like a tax, like a sales tax type deal. So if you like what is it? I was talking to a friend the other day, Jerry, who's been sitting back for a long time waiting to finish his build because he can't find a head. People are charging a lot of money for heads, right? So if you want like an RB, like you want a K20A2 head, a Type S head, or a K24A2 head, TSX head, and you can't find one locally for a good price. Now, some things like this aren't fixed price. Like the single cam head is a fixed price. I always know what theirs are going to be for. But those heads have sold recently. There's a guy selling a K20Z3 head for $300. That's extremely fair. The hoarder in me is screaming, buy the fucking thing, but I'm broke, so I couldn't buy it. But yeah, a head like that for $300. So if you want to hit me up, like, hey Chris, you know, can you find me a fucking, you know, do you have a K22 head for sale or a Type S head or whatnot? I'm like, no, I don't, but I can find one for you. So then I will get on Facebook, I will source one, I will negotiate a price. I will still negotiate for the head as if I were going to buy it for me. And once we come up on an agreed price, then I come back to you and I say, so this is what it is, and this is how much I'm going to charge you on top to ship it out. So let's say you're in an area that they tax the fuck out of those heads. $600 isn't unheard of for people taxing them. $500 or $600 is like kind of like a going rate, right? So if I find you the head for $350, I'll go to the head, I'll put the straight edge on it, I'll check it out, inspect it, make sure I can give the basic measurements and checks and eyeball checks and see if it's, you know, relatively healthy. So then I'll charge you, then it'll be the shipping, and then I'll charge a small fee like on it, depending on how far it is. If I don't have to go on a super big mission, let's say if it's a 20-30 mile drive, I'll charge $50. So if in this situation for that that head being $350 plus my $50 fee, so it's $400, and then plus whatever shipping is. So there are certain things that you can get in South Florida that would potentially maybe save you some money, right? And you won't have to make the effort to go out of it your way to get it. And at least with me, you know, I'm a safe seller. I'm a safe bet. Plenty of people have done business through YouTube with me already now, and given me money, and I haven't robbed anybody. I'm not super famous, but I'm a very public figure. I don't want anybody spreading rumors about me fucking somebody for money, right? I know so many people, and I want to keep all my relationships good with everybody. I don't need people saying I'm being shady. This is just a way for me to help you guys and also put a little bit of money in my pocket to get me running around too. So, yeah, so just because I don't have a part for sale doesn't mean you can't hit me up and say, hey, find me one, and then we can do that. And I can even ask you what your price range is, what you're trying to, you know, what your maximum range is, and I can try to negotiate down and see what I can do. So yeah, that's really I wanted to pitch that idea to you guys for some time now, so I've done that. There's that. Oh, hold on, give me a second. I am pretty fucking tired, so just I want to make sure that I've covered all my bases here. I've thoroughly talked about this. Oh yeah, this has been important. I would have forgot about it. So another thing you can do to save us both time. You can I will tell you what Facebook groups I used on here for Honda that you can join. Like there's a if you want to, like, I guess you can join the ones further up north, but I'm less likely to go without taxing the fuck out of you for gas. Like Orlando and Tampa, I have family in Tampa. I have Legoland annual passes for Orlando, so I don't mind going up there. But the fee will be equal to the price of me how far I drive. So so you can join the Tampa groups, the Tampa Honda groups. You can join the Orlando Honda groups and all the South Florida Honda groups. So South Florida K-Series sells, South Florida Honda sells, how South Florida Honda sells parts and trades and whatnot, Tampa Honda groups, any one of those. So you can go add yourself to these groups, look for the parts yourself, tag me in them. And then that makes things a lot faster. Even if you just want to browse, like look through and you see a post that you're interested in, tag me in the fucking on the post, and then you don't even have to say nothing to the seller. I'll just get in there and I'll start my negotiations, work out the price, and I'll even send you fucking screenshots of the conversations. That way you know I'm not bullshitting you and I'm not trying to milk you for extra money. So that's just an idea, guys. I know that like if you're like me, you're one of those people who likes to sit on Facebook and just browse shit. That's a way for you to kill time and get parts. I actually had somewhat similar of a situation to this. If you don't remember, like sometime in the beginning of the year, it was around the time that Eminem and MGK had their beef. So whenever the fuck that was, around that time, I had a guy that lives in California that he found locally to me some heads. Some guy that was in Florida, two VTEC heads, two B Series VTEC heads. I think a GSR and a B16 or two B16, something similar to that. I still have that head. It's still tucked away, and I was actually going to unwrap it the other day to see exactly what I'm missing because I forgot what I'm missing there. So I need to see exactly what is missing. I need to finish it. So he found the local guy, and he told the guy to ship it to me. So he shipped it to me. I opened the boxes, saw what was missing, what was all there, organized it into two heads, checked it for damages or whatnot. Anything that was obvious. Did my little inspection and shit, and then shipped from here to there. Now, of course, I didn't charge anything. It was just like I actually wound up buying one of the heads. I paid for one of the heads off of him, and that's why I have it. So that was kind of a thing for him. He's like, he spent a little bit of extra money on shipping, but then kind of made some of the money back because I bought one. I think the guy wanted to sell it in package deals because they were parts heads for the most part. They were missing a lot of shit. So that's why that went the way it did. So like I said, I don't rob people, so you can trust me. And you want to get some shit through me, and so if you're in a place where you can't get a lot of access to Honda parts, and you want to broaden your horizons a little bit, I know that a lot of people, in the national Facebook groups, they don't, a lot of people will sketch on that because every once in a while you hear a nightmare scenario with I paid the guy and he's making excuses, he's not fucking sending me my parts or whatnot. At least this way, it gives you a window to a huge Honda scene where shit's kind of cheap here, and you have somebody that can go get shit for you that's not gonna fucking fuck you over. So yeah, if you're anywhere else in the country and you want access to South Florida's Honda scene, go join the groups if you want to make things easier for both of us. Look for the parts you want and hit me up, and I'll go get it for you. I'll be your middleman. I'll be your insurance for making sure that you're gonna get it. Plus, I know a lot of people don't like to deal with the hassle of shipping, local pickup only type deals. So yeah, safe way to potentially get discounted parts. Just thought I would let you guys know that. Plus, I want to touch on the Patreon thing a little bit. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram keeps you up to date on what I'm doing in the house, or I'm doing around the house, what my projects are. Also, Facebook, if you're not already following there, you can go follow there, and then you can hit that shop button on the Facebook page and see what I have listed for sale. There's only 2 things there right now, but it will expand over time. Just got to give me some time to work on it, so you can see what I have listed in the future. Alright guys, so that's it for right now. This went a little bit long, and peace. Talk to y'all later.